extra gear, the first 3 steps,
Huge strides in the performance.
that I might not be the player I am today.
Okay, here we are, another episode of Behind the Gear. And in studio today, I've got Colton White. And Colton is a born and bred from London, Ontario, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and you played all your minor hockey here?
Yeah, I played SSC minor hockey, South London, with Mitch Van Sample and Jacob Bryson.
Yep.
And then I went on to play the London Junior Knights program with Dave Warren, started out as my coach.
Okay.
And then went on from there, played all the way through minor midget. So
Awesome. And you started, did you start in minor Adam then? Like, you started right away, or did you wait a couple years?
yeah, I started in minor novice, actually, with the SSC program.
But as far as the junior night story?
Yeah, Junior Knights started in minor Adam.
Okay,
and then
cool.
all the way
So
through
you
minor
played
midget.
AAA almost your entire
Yeah.
minor hockey, right?
Yeah.
Aside, well, when you could, because
Yeah.
minor Adam's basically the first year that you can
I
start.
did. I tried out as an underager, and then I got cut. But, yeah, that's about
Now,
it.
was that your idea, your dad's idea?
I wanted to go for
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
it didn't work
That's
out too
okay.
well. Yeah.
That's all right. Things panned out okay for you long
Yeah.
term, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And when did you start hockey? I mean, there's a big thing right now with parents and kids that you got to start at 2, you got to start at 3, you got to start at 4. You know, and a lot of times parents think that they miss the boat if their kid starts at 6, 7, and 8. But were you an early? Did you start early, or did you start a little later?
I think I started skating. Like, my dad built a small surface area rink out back, and then I started skating probably like 3 or 4, and then
Cool.
probably like started doing power skating before I even played. Like,
Yeah.
I forget who I did it with. She does the figure skating. She used to do the figure skating program around here, so I did that for a little bit, and then I started playing around like 5 or 6. So
Cool. Oh, that's good. And I think that's an important piece too. A lot of parents that they put their kids in hockey right away,
Yeah,
can't
they
skate,
can't skate.
right? And
Yeah.
learning how to skate at the beginning makes hockey way more
So,
enjoyable for the
yeah.
kids, right? Because it's
Exactly.
frustrating. Like, I don't know if you've picked up any new sports over the last bunch of years. When you suck at it, it really sucks.
Yeah, it's
right?
boring. You don't want to play
Yeah,
it at all.
yeah, exactly. No, that's cool. And then I know Dave Warren was a big part of that kind of your age group
Yeah.
growing up. He had a lot of U97s for a lot of the way up, and did a really good job kind of.
Yeah, no, Dave was a big developer for a lot of our age group. We had Zapula, who played on Sound for 5 years, and then Mitch and Jacob, and even Johnny Warren too. He played in the OHL for a bit, and Trent Fox played minor midget there too. And no, he was really focused on skill development, and just the small skills like tight turns, that sort of stuff. Like when you're young, you need to really focus on that sort of stuff. And then as we grew up, it really paid off, I thought, and I think we could use that as a base sort of thing, and then we sort of built off that as we grew up.
Once you get that foundation down, then it's easier to add your more technical skills or your harder things, right? But getting that edging, that skating is so huge, all the time. Now, when you were playing AAA and Adam and then Pee Wee and Bantam, were you always one of those kind of top 6 guys, or did you were there some years where maybe you grew or you put on weight or whatever, you kind of fell out of that top 6?
So minor Adam, the first 2 years of Adam, I was pretty bad. I wasn't bad, but I was
I know what you're saying.
middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I didn't stand out at all. And then I think I grew a little bit, and I really that summer between Adam and Pee Wee, I think I really focused on the skating. We had Power Play 89 here.
Yeah.
And I did the skating treadmill and started working out here. And I think that honestly really helped me out. It started my skating to develop that, even become a bigger strength of mine. And from that, I think I started developing into a way better hockey player. I started to become an assistant captain on the teams and stuff, and I think I really developed from then on. After Pee Wee, I sort of took off from there.
Those were kind of your best years, eh? That
Yeah.
Bantam and then that minor midget.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
It's huge to just Pee Wee is where it started. I could start seeing, okay, maybe I should continue working hard and sort of build from there, and that's when I started taking it even more seriously.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And what other sports did you play growing up? So let's say in elementary school and then going into high school, or the other sports that you loved or that you were really involved in that you played?
Elementary school, I love basketball. I played elementary school for my school team in volleyball.
You were a
too.
baller.
Yeah,
You were a baller back then,
I can't
eh?
shoot threes though. But I played volleyball. I really loved that. I could only play for grade 7 and 8, but I didn't play in high school. Basketball, I wasn't too good at. I just played just because my buddies didn't. Just to get around, and then away from school, I played lacrosse for Blue Devils.
Yeah.
I did that for a couple of years. I tried soccer, but I wasn't too big of a fan.
A lot of running, eh?
Yeah,
You can't glide. No gliding.
no cruising.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And lacrosse is such a good crossover sport, though, right? And even at young ages of lacrosse, you're allowed to hit. You're allowed to, whack it, use your stick for cross-checking. And so it does, I think, a lot of times prepare young kids for, that physicality of hockey. Even though you can't hit until you're in Adam or Pee Wee. Back then, I think for you, it was probably in Pee Wee you could start playing contact. And now they've even pushed it higher up to Bantam. So for a lot of these young kids in Autumn and Pee Wee, you know, the first time they get into hitting is Bantam, and you've got guys like you maybe that was, you know, almost 6 feet, and then you got other players that are 5 feet, and that's a huge discrepancy.
Got
but
Johnny
I think
Warren in the corner.
yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
And I think where lacrosse is a nice crossover because you've got that physicality where kids understand and learn how to take a hit or make plays under pressure type thing.
And I think it sort of translates. Like it's 5-on-5. It's like small area stuff. Like, and you need to learn like body positioning. I think in both sports and sort of translate into one another. And I think a lot of guys grew up playing lacrosse too, and a lot of guys played soccer too. And I think I sort of wish I got better at soccer because I think it would have benefited me even more. But yeah, I'm thankful I played lacrosse. It work on your hands, your feet, like your cardio. Like it does a lot for you. So
no, for sure. And then in high school, I know it got busier because in high school you're kind of getting into that Bantam age group and then minor midget. Were you able to play any other sports in high school a little bit, like any of the high school teams or things like that?
I played like junior high school hockey. My dad didn't want me playing senior hockey. Yeah, it was too it
gets a little crazy.
Yeah, it was too hectic for the schedule sort of thing. But yeah, I played junior hockey with my buddies. It was fun. We did a couple of tournaments. It was great.
Yeah,
it was
it's
like
cool.
Just playing with my normal buddies, like guys who are just like don't take hockey seriously. So that was pretty fun. I played like badminton, like just hand-eye stuff. Like that stuff's a blast. I tried track and field for a little bit, but I was just like more focused on like doing hockey specific training and stuff. I wish I did stick with track because it's like speed based and like cardio. And I would have, if I did it longer, I think I would have benefited too. Yeah, I think I'm doing more stuff now. So
yeah, good. And what would be your events in track?
I'm not like the fastest guy straight ahead, but probably 400 meter.
Yeah, a little distance in there. Yeah. 400 meter to me is like the worst race because
it's brutal.
It's you're basically sprinting around that oval as hard as you can go. I did it too when I grown up, and I loved it at the time. And now I look like even summer training when you're doing it in summer training, you're just like, no it's man, 400s? Are you kidding me?
Your lungs are burning, your legs are burning, and you're like, you got 100 meters left, and you just got to dig in. It's brutal.
So then we get into your minor midget year, and obviously there's a lot of buzz, right? I don't know how well you remember this, but just that minor midget year with the draft coming up and all this hype on a lot of players, and kind of going through that whole period. So what was that like for you and kind of your parents and family just going through that year?
It was pretty exciting. We had a really good team. We had, like I said, Van Sample, who's first round pick, Zapula, first rounder, and then Bryson too. And we had 9 guys drafted, I think it was. So we had a pretty good squad. But before the year, I had like a sort of a goal in mind to go like the first 2 rounds as my goal. Like ever since I was really like keen on watching the '93 AAA group. Yeah. And like the Chiefs, like Jenner, Warad. And I really enjoyed watching Jake Warad because he's a similar style of defenseman to me, I thought. And he's someone I looked up to as a kid, like a young kid watching them. And he went second round too to London Knights. I was like, wow, that's pretty sick. Like if he can do it, like maybe I could too. So that was a goal of mine. And like my parents just supported me throughout. Like didn't put any pressure on me. My dad's just like, no, what, have fun. Whatever happens, happens. Like guys who haven't gotten drafted have went on to like have huge NHL careers and stuff. So he's like, just go have fun and enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And I think that was huge for me, just to get the support from my parents and stuff, just to go out and play and not like
and no pressure.
It's way better like that. You have way more fun like that.
For sure. And at what age did you kind of look at hockey and say, you know what, man, I'm going to try to. This is something like I know as young kids, and I was the same way. I started a bit later when I was 9, so I was a little bit behind the ball that way. But ever since I started playing and practicing hockey, I wanted to play in the NHL. I think so that's kind of a goal as we're kids. But when did you actually kind of look at your game and be like, I might be able to play in the O, or I might be able to play junior hockey, right? Kind of that, I'm going to push hockey here a bit. Is there a specific time or age that you kind of light bulb went off?
I think, like, every kid grows up wanting to play in the NHL, but I think once, like, you understand, like, oh, like, maybe I could get drafted and this could be, like, a serious, like, opportunity for me. I think it was, like, probably Pee Wee, because that's when I started, like, going to games with my dad. He loved watching hockey. Like, we had a family friend on the '93 night group, so I was like, I'd come to the rink with him and just watch, and there's a bunch of scouts in the building. Like, it's so cool. It was the coolest thing, and, like, you could see them, like, the games are so intense, and, like, you don't realize it, and how much pressure, like, is actually at stake to get drafted and stuff like that. And we'd watch the Silver Stick tournaments. Like, if we were in the tournament as well, we'd go take our time and watch them. And I think that's when I realized, like, whoa, this could be actually, like, a reality. I could play in the OHL, like, could play in the John Labatt Center. Like, this would be pretty cool, Like, I'd go there Friday night, watch it with my parents and stuff. And I think that's when I realized, like, probably Pee Wee age group is when I was like, okay, I gotta buckle in here because maybe I could get drafted. Like you never know. So I think that's when I realized I could play in the OHL.
Yeah, kind of make a go of it, right? So kind of that almost that 12, 13-year-old, you know, kind of age where you're like, I gotta maybe start picking salads over French fries and like making little choices like that, right? Start small, but they all kind of add up as you kind of move forward and get older and really see that kind of goal coming through, right? Which is huge. And we're spoiled here in London because if you go to the Knights game, you see 9,000 people in the stands. You're like, this is what it's going to be like. And you played, you know, now in the O. So we'll backtrack quickly to the minor midget year. So you get through that minor midget year, playing well, OHL Cup, all that kind of stuff. You guys kind of, you know, had a good year. Was there an OHL Cup year that year?
Yeah, there was, but we didn't get invited. We lost in like the first round.
You did, that's right.
Yeah. Because Van Sample was hurt, Bryce
right.
was hurt, like banged up, but we lost in the first round.
That's tough. Yeah.
Won the toilet bowl, so
perfect. There you go. And I mean, even in the toilet bowl, which is basically the regulation rounds for the teams that didn't move on, there's still scouts in the stands though, right?
Yeah,
like still people watching.
Team. I think we played Sun County and like they had a good squad.
Yeah, they had some kids on that.
There was like a lot of scouts still coming and stuff. Like, and it was the weekend before the draft, so we played probably like the latest like any team could play like before the cup, so
that helps.
Yeah, it's huge,
which is good for sure. So then let's go through draft day. So it's the OHL draft. It's on a Saturday, and then it was on the internet, right? So you're basically sitting in front of a computer all day, clicking, refresh.
I woke up. I actually slept in a little bit. I was gonna wake up and go fishing with my dad like pretty early, but I was like, I'm pretty tired. Like I'm just gonna keep sleeping. 16-year-old wants to sleep. But yeah, I remember waking up at like 8 or 9, just an hour before the draft or so, and I kept watching just the tabs just to see who went in the first round. I saw Mitch go and Ethan go. I was like, okay, like. Getting sort of nervous. My agent sort of told me like maybe second or third round. I was like, okay, I'll pay attention now. Yeah. And then next thing you know, the refresh, I didn't bother looking at it, and my phone was going off. Kyle Dubas called me, and I remember like I answered it. He's like, Colton, this is you? I was like, yep. And he's like, want to be a Sioux Greyhound? I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah. And then ever since then, I was a Sioux Greyhound.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal.
Any good little draft parties? Do you have some friends, family over, or stuff like that?
Yeah. So I forget what we did. My grandparents came over, my uncle and aunt, and then had a beer or something. Yeah. Just one beer. I was 16. Couldn't have too many. But,
no, exactly.
Yeah, we just had a little family dinner and then kept it small. And then, I think like they had a development camp like a week or two later. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Pretty exciting though when you see all that work and stuff at that young age kind of come to that spot.
Yeah,
that one day, right?
Yeah, it was really cool because I've known a lot of guys who've been drafted. Like I played up a year for like a couple of games the year before, and I got to see like McCann and Pettit and Sini and guys like that get drafted. So I was like, okay, like now this is my year.
Time,
this is my year to get going and stuff. So it was pretty cool, and it's a day I'll always remember.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's one of those things where you're one of 300 that year to get drafted, which is pretty cool because there's a lot of hockey players out there. So it's a nice feather in your cap to get that draft and get that that little bit of status, right? For sure. Now, was there ever any doubt about going to the O? Meaning, were you kind of pondering a little bit of NCAA maybe, or trying to play school, or were you looking at both routes, or were you really, really focused on playing in the OHL at that? Age?
My family and I sort of looked at both routes. We went on a tour to Michigan and Michigan State. But I was so keen, like growing up in London, you're just watching the London Knights. I was like, I want to play in the O big time. And with their school package they had at the time, I was like, even if like it doesn't work out and I don't get drafted for the NHL or I don't have a career in hockey, like, and I can always go to school after. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm gonna put all my marbles in one basket, and that's sort of what I did.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about the O now. I think over the years they've stepped up, where you as a second rounder, third rounder, fourth rounder, you get a pretty good school package. So you're basically getting a bit of a scholarship, or pretty good scholarship actually, to go play in the O and then potentially go to school after. Now, when you get drafted in the OHL in the top 3-4 rounds, the last thing you want to hear is, "Hey, I can't wait to pick my school that I'm going to go to," like going to a CIS school, which has a great brand of hockey, but when you get drafted, especially the top 3-4 rounds, like I'm taking the rocket ship right to the end, right? No, and how far, when you get drafted, you go to your first training camp, right? And we'll go through that in a second. But when you look back on it now as an older guy, how far away is the NHL from that first year? Because I know when you get drafted, you think 4 years away from the show, like and then when you get there, how far away? When you look back on it now, like, man, I was not that good at 16.
Yeah, no, it's not even close. It's really eye-opening. Like once you get to your first like training camp, like the development camp, it's just like same group of guys, like your age group, and I'm like, okay, I'm still like one of the better guys out here. And then I got to my first OHL training camp, and I'm like, okay, you're in for one here. Like, it was really eye opening.
Totally.
Like, Darnell Nurse was there, Colin Miller was there, like just playing, like just to get like warmed up for his NHL camp. I'm like, Canner's there, like there's a bunch of good players here. Blake Spears is there too.
Yeah, right.
He was 16 too, and I'm like, fuck, these guys are good players.
Man.
Like, it was really
kind of sets you back a bit, though, right? You're like, whoa, you kind of take a step back, be like, hey, I wasn't like, because when you're London or minor midget, you're kind of that big fish in a small pond, right? And you go there, you're like, man, these guys are actually legit.
Fall off the ladder, and you got to
you're bottom of the totem pole there for sure, right?
Going. Yeah. And I think like I had a lot of good people in the Sioux. My billets were great, and I think Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas sort of developed me in a good process. They took their baby steps with me, and I think that's how it's supposed to be with a 16-year-old. I think
for sure.
I think there's exceptions for sure. Like the first rounders are pretty elite players, and obviously I was pretty good, but I don't think I was elite. Like someone who could step in and produce like 40 points right away. I don't think I was that kind of guy, and I think I did it slowly, and I think for me that's the best way I could have done it. So.
And your first year, how many games did you play?
I played 57 out of 68.
It's good.
So
it's really good.
Yeah, I thought I struggled to start. It was funny actually. So I didn't play that much up until like sort of the month of December, and then we played in London actually, and I was dressed and I was pretty pumped, like hometown crowd, and that's when I started like getting my wheels going.
Okay,
I started playing like a regular shift in that, and then ever since like that game in London, I was in the lineup every game.
Good.
So, yeah,
that's awesome.
It was pretty cool. Just this like happened in my hometown sort of thing. So.
Maybe you just needed some hometown cooking.
Yeah,
right? Just need to see mom and dad and chill out.
Sleep in my own bed.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
And then the next day, I was like, Coach, could I go for dinner with my parents? And we had a bus at 8 a.m. the next day, and I'm like, all right, get home at 11 at the hotel or whatever, and set my alarm for 8 or like 7:50, just catch the bus. Next thing you know, it's like 8:01. Me and my roomie slept through our alarms.
No way.
Like, what is going on?
And you just played a good game.
Yeah. I was like, Dad,
you're done.
I'm messed, man.
You're
like,
done.
I'm going to be a healthy scratch tomorrow. Like, this is not good. We play in Plymouth. But the day before, or after we got on the bus, like, I was like, sorry, Coach. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, like,
now, so 8:01, you guys pop up. Like, hey, how long did it take you? How many minutes? Like,
and we had to dress up, like, cash, like, golf shirt. I'm like, oh, man, I'm in shambles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm scrambling. It takes me, like, 5 minutes to get everything. I left my phone cord, like, my charger and my toothbrush, all that stuff. And, Coach wasn't too mad. He was happy I played good the last night. So, But, then after that little fiasco in the morning, we had a practice at the Joe Louis Center.
Okay,
so we got to meet Mike Babcock. And
no way.
He got to talk to us. So,
cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool day.
That's awesome. That was before the Plymouth game then?
Yeah.
So you guys must have done like a Friday, Sunday or something like that, and had a day off in between.
Yeah, minus the sleep, and it was a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, you need those little wake up calls because when you miss a meeting or you're late for something, like probably not going to happen again.
No,
right? Like, you're setting 3 alarms next time. You're 100%. Calling the front desk for a room, like getting them to call you a wake up call.
No,
and
it's huge.
Yeah, it takes 1 or 2 of those instances.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
And some guys don't care, right? You play with guys that like they're late all the time. They
don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like, crazy.
Oh, there's a guy I know in the Sioux. He was late for everything. Like so casual about it too. Like he'd show up just like he just woke up out of bed, like just like sitting there in the meeting. Like it's wake up, man.
I know. It's crazy. And through all like kind of minor hockey and then getting into this OHL and getting your first year under your belt. When you look back on your minor hockey and that whole kind of first part of that journey, who are some of the big influences that you had, like your dad, your mom, your grandparents? Like, who are some people that really kind of kept you motivated? And I know there's times throughout that minor hockey, we'll call it a career, but minor hockey that, you probably got discouraged. You probably got, a little depressed about your game or things like that. But who are some of the people that were close to you that kind of brushed you off and got you back up and going?
My family, for sure. Every day, they're always supporting me. They're just telling me to, like, work hard and see what happens. Like, that's the main thing my dad and my mom have embedded in me is just hard work and good work habits. And I think that's what's gotten me here today and being able to play pro hockey. And I think that's what's continuing me to keep playing pro hockey. But other than my parents, I think Rob Konechny, actually, Trav's dad, was a big influence on me. Like, we played spring hockey, and there's a couple like we had a couple big tournaments, and I didn't play that well, and I was pretty like down in the dumps and stuff. And he'd always take time to like pull me aside and just have a casual conversation about hockey or like how I've been playing and stuff. And he's always there to like support me and throw a little bit more confidence into me. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was huge, and I'll always remember that too, just because he would constantly go out of his way to make time for me and
That's
always
good.
just
Yeah.
have a conversation with me. And then guys like Dave Warren, he'd always talk to me too. He was a big influence just because I was with him for so long.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Because you guys played spring and everything, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
From minor Adam to like minor midget, he was always there. And then Don Dixon was there too. He was a good influence. He was the D coach most of the time there. So, and then Trevor Gallant too. He played pro. And Tristan was his son, and he played with him.
Oh yeah, because he's a 97 as well, correct?
Yeah. So it was cool just to have like Trevor around because he played pro and he played in the O, and then he played in Europe too. So it was cool just to get like little tidbits of information from him.
Yeah.
How everything works before you even jump into the O. So it was pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah, those are just some of the people.
No, that's awesome, man.
Hockey.
Yeah, it's good, and I think it's important for. And we talked about it a lot with pro guys, is getting a group of people around you that genuinely care about you and your career, right? And I think in minor hockey, you got the same support system, maybe not as structured, but you have those same people like a Konechny or a Warren or a Dixon that help you out. Maybe that's that one talk that kind of like, okay, yeah, I wasn't that bad, or it kind of changes. And I think that's so important for young guys, and because the going from 8 years old to 21 playing pro, it's a huge gap though, right? So how do you get through all those years and all those minutes and all those periods, right? Well. That's kind of it. You need those people around you that genuinely care and they're doing it for the right reasons,
I remember it was just the start of minor midget, and we were playing in the Toronto Titan tournament like before the season even started, and I'm like, before the game even started, I'm real nervous. I'm like, shit, there's going to be a lot of scouts and stuff here, first big tournament. And I was like, Trevor, I need to talk to you before the game even starts. Like, we're just getting ready to go. And he's like, man, I'm so nervous. Like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I've never felt like this before. He's like, just go and have fun, Whitey. Like, just go play. And I was like, all right. And then had 2 points, I think.
Good.
Yeah, it just settled me down. Like, it's people like that who you can count on all the time, someone you can always talk to. And I think, I always remember people who help me out. And I think you always need to remember where you come from, for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. And then, so now moving forward, so then you play obviously your career in the Sioux. But going from your first year to your second year is a really fun jump. Probably you come back way more confident. You got a little more swagger. You know what's going on at training camp. You know how the season's going to run.
Yeah.
It's a different approach, right? But for you and anybody at that age of 97 playing their second year, maybe their first year, that's your draft year for the NHL. So that's a different year for you guys as well, because now you're trying to showcase yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you got a little more swagger, a little more confidence, but you're also now you're under that microscope again that you were just under 2 years ago at a way better level, a way higher level, right? So what was that like going through that draft year in the OHL?
It was tough at the start. So I thought I had a really good summer, and then it was more of a mental thing for me. I was putting way too much pressure on myself at the start. Like, I had big expectations for myself, and so did the coaching staff and management there. So I was struggling a bit at the start, but again, like I found my like swagger again. I started playing with more confidence come like probably the second month of the season, and ever since then I was smooth sailing from there. And like I said, Rich Rottenberg, he's the trainer for the Marlies now, and I spent the summer training with him. So and I think
did you stay in the Sioux that summer?
No,
I
actually trained in Woodstock with
that's right,
Jake
because he was that's right. I knew that. Yeah.
So I spent the summer with them, and I had a big summer. Like, I was really excited to get the season going, and I just was thinking way too much on the ice. I wasn't having any fun. I was just gripping the stick too hard. I was thinking about the draft constantly, and then I finally settled down, and I think from then on, like I started playing good. The team was really good. Like, we went on a run that year.
Yeah.
And the season was played out pretty good, and then come playoff time, I think that's when I like hit my peak, and I think that's what ended up like getting me drafted was the run we went on. We made it to the conference finals against Erie and lost to McDavid. Right. But I think the playoff run I had is like what got me drafted.
Yeah. No, that's huge. Now, throughout the year, did you think a lot about the draft? Like, I know it's going to be on your mind a lot, but did you, like you said at the start of the year, you kind of mentally mess yourself up, right? 100%. But throughout the season, it's got to be something that's kind of always in the back of your mind that, hey, we're playing in Sudbury tonight. Hey, we're playing in North, or we're playing in Mississauga. Like, there's going to be guys. There's going to be scouts there. Is it something that weighed on you, or did you figure out a way to kind of block that a little bit?
At the start, I did a lot. Like, it'd keep me up at night just thinking about it sometimes, because I wanted to get drafted. Every kid wants to get drafted big time in the NHL, and I was like, oh, it's so close, but like it's far away, you know. You need to just like take it one day at a time. It's cliche, but it's so true. Like, you need to be able to just take one day at a time and just worry about the game you have, like right now, or practice, or whatever you need to do. And I think once I finally did that, I think that's when it just sort of, I relaxed, and it was there, like in the back of my mind. I was always thinking about it, but it was just like calm. I was just like, if it happens, it happens, but just control like what you can control, like work hard, like do whatever you can to get drafted. And if it doesn't happen, then at least you can say at the end of the day you did whatever you could. So
you leave it all on the table, right?
Yeah.
If you don't, you don't. And I think one thing that you realize when you're at that level is that even if you don't get drafted, there's still a lot of opportunity.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
There's still
3 more years of junior
exactly,
left,
and who knows after that, right? And there's thousands and thousands of stories of guys making NHL undrafted, or maybe getting drafted later, or at an older age. So there's a lot of avenues to get to where you want to go. It doesn't have to be a direct line, which you were fortunate that it did work out that way. So now coming up to the draft, I'm assuming that, did you get called to the combine or no?
I actually didn't.
Right.
It was, I don't know why, or I think on the Central Scouting I wasn't ranked as high as some of the guys that went, and I was completely fine with that.
You basically missed out on a week of being a guinea pig.
Yeah,
and getting
I'm perfectly okay with that.
I
didn't want to ride the bike anyway.
So.
But yeah, I actually went down to meet with New Jersey.
Okay.
And I just had like a small lunch or dinner with them, and then after that, that's all I did.
So was it just the one team, just Jersey, that you spoke with?
I spoke with a couple of teams. Like, they came to London, I think, to meet with a couple of local guys and that. But I went down to Buffalo just for the day, just to meet with the Jersey people, and that's it. So
good. Oh, that's good. That's really good. And kind of backtracking a bit, but did you have an agent like kind of in Bantam or midget, or did you do it on your own?
Yeah. So I played major Bantam, and then I got called up to the minor midget team just for a game, or I think the London Junior Knights tournament. I played in the final, and Jared McCann's agent was here. Yeah. And from then on, he contacted my dad, and then he came over to meet us and have dinner with us, and then sort of built a relationship from there, and then went from there.
Yeah, because that's another question. A lot of parents get overwhelmed when that starts to happen, because then you get, I'm sure in your minor midget year, you had other people contacting you, and it's nice to get that out of the way. And I tell parents a lot of times that if your son's high end, and you are high end, right? If you're going to go top couple rounds in the OHL potentially, then it is good to have somebody that advise you a little bit and talk to GMs. But you also want the right people, because there's a lot of, I'll call them B agencies out there that GMs won't pick the phone up to talk to, right? So making those right decisions on who you're, and if you have somebody like Jarrett McCann or somebody else that's high end, right, who's with a good agency, then there's good recommendations there. And I think for a lot of parents and young players is ask questions. Don't get too, because during that honeymoon stage with anybody, they're throwing everything at you. Like, they're bringing you to games, they're bringing you sticks, they're talking about this and that. And parents get caught up in it, and they commit to something that they don't, maybe isn't the right fit for them.
Down the road, it doesn't work out. And I think you have to be comfortable with the person you're going to go with. I think a lot of guys go with the first guy they've met, and I think you need to sort of test the waters, sort of thing, and meet new meet new agents and stuff like that, and see the pros and cons to each one. And I think ultimately you just need to be with someone you're really comfortable with, and someone who's genuinely gonna care for you and do work for you. So I think that's what it comes down to.
You gotta take a couple test drives, right? You gotta take them test drives, see what car you like, right? There you go. Yeah. So coming now, now we're fast forward past the combine, everything's kind of done, season's over. Yeah. Draft's coming up. Where was the draft your year? It was in Florida, wasn't it?
It was in Florida. I didn't go, actually. My agent told me not to, just in I didn't know what round I was gonna go in or at all. So I was just hoping for the best. And
so quick side note on that though, Mitch, your strength coach and myself went down to that draft because Van de Sample, Konechny, Kraus, yourself, Martinet ended up going that year. There was a bunch of guys, Kyrie, which is awesome, and a lot of guys that we knew, and that's kind of why we went down. But I remember your name getting called, and I knew that you weren't there, but it was still really, really cool to kind of see that. But go ahead.
So we went to my family cottages up in Muskoka area, and then I had my friend Nathan Bastion, who played my first year pro with me. He went the year later to Jersey, but we spent the weekend up there, and then my phone had no service, and he's looking at it, and he's like, nothing yet, Whitey. I'm like, all right, no worries. My mom comes running outside, up top. We're just fishing down at the dock, and she comes screaming out. She's like, you got drafted. And I was like, I almost blacked out. I was like, what's going on? It was speechless. You don't know what to do. There's so much emotion going through your mind and stuff. All the sacrifices your parents made and stuff, and your brothers, my brother, and my friends and family. And it was a special moment for sure, just to be around the people that have always been there for me, and then got to enjoy the rest of the day with a couple beers.
There you go.
Fishing.
Northern Ontario style. That's good. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's great. And yeah, what an accomplishment,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
huge.
again, you just put yourself in a different class from even that OHL draft to that NHL draft.
yeah.
Amazing. Like so cool. And did anybody from New Jersey call you? Like
yeah, Ray Shiro did, and then
Cool.
David Conti, the head scout
Yeah.
there at the time.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then before that, actually, Blake Spears got drafted a round ahead of me. So
Okay.
that was cool just to have a
Yeah.
team from the Sioux. Like it's pretty cool. It's we went 1-2 in the draft in the O, and then
Cool.
we went 1-2 in
Yeah.
the Jersey Devil draft.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's nice to just have someone you're familiar with. It makes everything so much easier.
Yeah.
Like, you're not alone, and you always have someone there who
Yeah.
you're just comfortable with, and it makes the transition so much easier.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I know exactly. And then now we fast forward a little bit. Draft happens, it's over, and then development camp's kind of a couple weeks after the draft, usually, or right around that time, right? So what was it like going into that development camp? And if we go back to your first kind of training camp at the O, and you feel like you're like, I'm so far, like this is tough, right? Now development camp's neat because it's all the younger guys for the most part. So kind of the same thing as like mini camp in the O. But still, you got some good players there, man, and some free agents that are there and stuff. So what was that like?
There's a couple first round draft picks from previous years, a couple guys who have
college guys, right?
Yeah, college guys who can just dominate fitness
Yeah.
testing. But there's a lot of guys who have like played a year or two pro, like who still go, and I think it's pretty eye opening too to have those guys there. We had actually Damon Severson, he played the full year in the NHL, and he came. So I was like, all right, this guy.
Wow.
Like just to see the difference between like myself and him or other people, like it's wild. The amount of work you have to do just to be an NHLer is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think it's eye opening, like I said, but you got the opportunity once you get drafted or you get an invite to camp, and I think that's what you have to take advantage of is the opportunity you get.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a cool experience. Development camps are really fun. You get to do a lot of activities like a Yankee game. Like we had the opportunity to do that. We did some go-karting, like Top Golf we got to do. Like stuff's pretty fun. And then you get to meet new people too. And I think that's some of the cooler parts. You get to meet some college guys you've never even met before. Guys from around the O who've gotten drafted too that you might not know. And I think you get to build friendships from there too.
For sure. Yeah. No, it's cool. And it is like a week of being around those guys pretty much 24/7. So you get to know some guys really well and get to make some new friendships for sure, and get to figure out who the clowns are and who the beauties are, and some good stories I'm sure coming out of development camp, right? And then from there, come home, train, right? And at that point, where were you training? Were you back in Woodstock, or did you start with Mitch at that point?
When did I? So yeah, I was still in Woodstock at that point. I think. I think that was my last year in Woodstock because then my trainer, like Rich Rottenberg, went to Toronto and he got a job there. So the next summer, that's when I had to switch training programs and come here and start the journey here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's good. And then that summer, obviously, put in a lot of work to get ready for main camp, right?
Yeah, that was huge. That was a big summer for me. Just like never been to an NHL like main camp before. You're surrounded by NHLers. Like this is the big deal, and it's different because not everyone's there from the development camp. Like college guys can't come. So it was pretty cool. I thought I did pretty well. I got to play in a preseason game against Boston.
How cool is that?
We got to fly to the game. It was pretty wild. Yeah. Got to play against like Max Talbot, Dennis Seidenberg, like Patrice Bergeron was playing. I was like, this is pretty cool.
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, Colin Miller was playing. I know him, so it was pretty eye opening too, just to play in that and see the difference between junior and like NHL. It's a preseason game, but it was still completely different. Like
it's a totally different style of hockey, right?
Wicked.
Way more organized. Guys are passing on the tape. Like it's tighter, right? And you're traveling a little bit better than the Iron Lung, right? Taking the bus everywhere.
Taking a 12-hour bus to your ear. Anything.
And the Sioux's a tough spot because your road trips are pretty much everywhere. Like Sudbury be 3 hours, probably your closest.
Yeah, our shortest was Saginaw, which was 3.5. Then Sudbury was 3.5.
Yeah.
Also, so those are pretty tough on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Getting home at like 2 a.m., going to school the next day. It's
for sure.
Not fun.
Yeah, I know exactly. Sudbury's my hometown, so I've seen that wolf go up and down that track lots of times.
That's the worst. Worst benches in the league.
Oh yeah, that rink's a little bit old. It's a little dated. And you guys got a nice sick barn up in the Sioux.
It's not too bad. Yeah. It's like similar to Oshawa or Sarnia. A little newer than Sarnia's, but it's pretty nice. Yeah. Fans are great there. Yeah. Good old Sioux town.
No, that's cool. So after your first development camp, they ended up, obviously things go well. I'm sure your exit interviews went well at the end of it, and then you end up going back to junior.
Yep.
Right?
I went back to junior, and we so Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas both. Dubas got a new job with the the Leafs, sorry, and then Sheldon, head coach of the Marlies, and then we had a new coach, Drew Bannister,
Right.
and then
And he's an alumni, right? He's played.
Yeah,
I
think he won two Mem Cup there, and then maybe two. I'm not sure. Maybe just one, but he was a Sioux alumni, so that was pretty cool to have a alumnus coaching us.
Yeah, for sure. And he's from there, I believe, as well, right?
I think he might be from Sudbury, actually.
Maybe he is. Yeah, you're right.
Or like somewhere in between.
Yeah. So that year was a good year for you, like as far as probably took on a bit of more of a leadership role.
Yeah, we had a good squad. My second year, like the draft year, we had like D'Angelo who plays in New York now, and Nurse who plays in Edmonton. Like Nick Ritchie was on the team, like Tolchinsky, Jared McCann, like Mike Bunting who plays in the A.
Yeah.
Spears, like we had a lot of good talent. Justin Bailey who plays Buffalo. Like he was the list goes on. But after that, so D'Angelo, Nurse, like we had a couple other OAs leave and stuff, and that opened like some holes and opportunities for other guys. And I was lucky enough, I was named an assistant captain, and Spears was the captain there. So it was sort of like our team now, and it's our third year. It's time to like step up and be a leader this time. And I got thrust into a lot of positions. I was on the power play. I was on the power play for the first time in my career, and the penalty kill. Like I was playing like important minutes and stuff, and I thought I'll handle it like pretty well. It was an adjustment for sure, because you go from playing like 15, 20 minutes to playing like 20, 25 like every night. Like it's a big difference. But it was an eye-opening experience just being like a leader. Like again, like especially there's such a difference in like age groups. Like there's guys who are older than you, like you got to earn their respect sort of thing, and guys who are younger, and you need to like help them out. Because I remember like when I was 16, like I needed like someone to like guide me in the right direction, and I had Darnell Nurse. I was lucky enough to have him as their captain, and he showed me like how to like be a pro, because he already been drafted by Edmonton, and I think he showed me how to do things right, and I think I learned from him like how to like treat people, like how to work, like and just lead by your actions and not your words. Yeah, no, and I think the leadership piece is huge. And you're right. You're 18 years old. You got 20-year-olds that you're a leader to. Mm-hmm. Some of them aren't going to tell you to go pound sand, right? Yeah. So you got to figure out ways, whether it's your play or how you approach them or how you behave, And then also, I'm sure when you came in as a 16-year-old, you had some vets that were just not nice. Like they were dicks, right? Yeah. And you don't want to be that guy when you're 18. Some guys automatically morph into that guy for some reason. I don't. Cool. Yeah, it's so brutal. But it sounds like for you, helping, because those 16-year-olds, man. You remember when you were 16, you're a new family, new city for the most part, bunch of new guys you don't know that well. It's awkward. New high school, like it's a mess, Yeah, sure. And when you're 18, 19, you don't get all that. No. But if you do kind of understand that it kind of sucked when you were 16, then it's a lot easier to help those young guys out. You're still gonna rib on them and get them to pick up pucks and stuff like that. But it's so nice when you got a good leader that's, hey, come on, do this. Yeah, it's huge, man. I think it just makes the whole transition that much like easier. Like you don't have like you have some older guys who like not disrespect you, but just haze you a little bit, and that's fine. Like that's part of the game. Yeah. But if you have a guy like Darnell, our captain, he took like me and Spearsy under his wing. He'd like hang out with us away from the rink, and I think that's stuff that like it goes a long way with people and younger kids. Like in their first year of junior, it's pretty far away from everyone. Like some kids are from Europe. Like yeah. So it's a tough adjustment for sure. And like going to high school in a different city was tough. Like it's a different city up there in the Sioux. But, no, I think if you have someone who can like guide you in the right direction, it's huge. And then once you learn from that, you can take it and give it to other people, and when you get in that position. So I think that was huge for me. Yeah, and just paying it forward, right? He was a good guy. You kind of had probably a couple good leaders, a couple of bad ones, and you get to see the difference in what you want. For sure. You get to decide if you want to be the bad guy or the good guy, pretty much. Yeah, no, exactly. And then you came back, so another development camp, probably another training camp for you the following year, and then went back and played your 20-year-old year in the O, right? Yeah. So finished up as your kind of last year in the O. We had a good team that year. It was young. We finished second, I think, in our conference, and then we had a lot of young guys. We were a young team, but I thought we did really well. We lost in Game 6, I think, to Suzuki's team. Okay, yeah. They dusted us. Like, we were up 2-0. We lost 4 straight. I remember that. Yeah. Like, what's going on? Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. Bad leadership for sure. Way to go, Whitey. But yeah, no, I thought that was a good year. I learned a lot, and I think that's the year where I sort of really grasped like the leadership role. Like Drew, our coach, I really took me and him had a good relationship. Good, like he he would meet with me personally, like just ask how things are going. Like me and Spears would sort of talk to him on a daily basis and see how things are going. But from that point on, I think that start of that year, I really like wanted to like I saw what it takes to become like a real pro, and I was really dedicated to doing things the right way every day. And like you don't realize how much like stuff goes into becoming an NHLer, and I think like guys don't realize that. Like they take it for granted at some point, like the stretching, like the off ice workouts, the nutrition, like the sleep, like it takes a lot. And I think that's when my fourth year in juniors, that's when it started to click, and I started doing stuff every day. And I think went a long way for me. And I think that made the transition that much easier. And my coach like drilled that into me. He's like, make sure you're doing stuff every day. Like it's what it's going to be like next year. And I was like, all right. And he was so true about it. Like the next, like my first year of pro, like it helped me so much. Like guys are doing stuff every day. Like, and it just makes the competition that much harder and stuff. And if you're doing stuff every day, you know you're doing something right.
Yeah. Well, and you said something there like being a pro. And I think, that's one thing that we try to do here a lot with the guys on the ice and the guys off the ice is try to help them, talk to them, have some good conversation with them about it. But exactly, you said being a pro. And being a pro is, you're going to have fun. You're going to parties, all that kind of stuff, no problem. But picking your spots, getting good sleep, working out, training, and I think now going back to what we talked about earlier is getting the right people around you. You know what I mean? If you're having problems focusing or you're getting too hard on yourself, then get a mental coach that's going to help you with that.
Exactly.
If you need help with your skills, get a skills coach that's going to help you with that. But identifying what you need and how you're going to put that team around you is going to be huge for success, right?
Yeah, I think like you get to decide who's around you, and I think if you have the right people around you, I think it makes that much easier. Like everything's just easy. Like you have right people guiding you in the right direction. This year I had a couple of guys like just help me out like Darnell did, and obviously it's a different, like it's pro compared to junior, but it was the same sort of scenario. And I think I already had the mindset that I needed to do what I had to do, like just to be a pro. And I think like just having that mindset and having other guys help me, and it expanded my knowledge of like what it takes to be a pro. And I had a good idea, but you don't really have a good idea until you get there. So
for sure. And going from your 20-year-old year in the O, where you got a lot of time on your hands because it's a little bit no school. You got practice, maybe breakfast club, whatever, right in the morning where you're going to go in early. But then you go to pro, and same kind of idea. You got a lot of time in your hands, but your job now is to play hockey. How cool is that? Like, you're getting paid to play hockey.
It's honestly unbelievable.
It's unreal,
I never imagined as a kid, like, honestly, just getting paid to play hockey. Like, it's unbelievable. And I think some guys take it for granted, but it's your job. Like, you got to work at it, and you got to do your best every day, like, regardless if you're tired or grumpy. Like, you got to do it. Like, it's your job. So, but it's fun. Like, not many people get to work for their hobby or get to,
for
like,
sure.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
some of your work days are like 2 hours long.
Yeah, I know.
If you had a practice day and you got nothing else going on, it's like 2 hours. Maybe you got to visit at night. You got to go to school or something. Or
it's not too bad.
It
was a big adjustment because, like, going from junior, like, we had a curfew call in at like 9:30, between 10:30 and that sort of time. But then you go to pro and you're out of the rink by like 12 or 1, and you just get to do whatever you want.
Yeah,
really. Like it's time to be a grown up.
And it's good, but it could be bad. And I'm sure you had guys on your team, or guys that didn't handle that free time well, right? Whether it's video gaming all the time, or it's drinking, or it's partying, or whatever. Because you have a lot of time, and you're right, you're an adult. So even though you're only 20 years old and your parents think you're still a kid, you're an adult now.
Yeah.
You're driving a car. You've got a rent to pay. Yeah. So you got to grow up quick. And if you're not ready in junior for that, that's a big, big, big difference, man. Yeah, for sure.
Like Spears, he lived in the Sioux like his whole life, and then this year he moved away. Like that was pretty tough. I think at the start for him, but he handled it really well. Like because of the people he had around him, I think like at home, like they sort of like let him do his own thing, and I think that was huge for him just to like just be himself and like not like technically live at home. Like it was just like they were his billet family. They treated it in like the right manner, and I think it helped him like coming his first year pro. He didn't have that much of an adjustment just because of the people that were around him, and I think that helped him. But yeah, you have a lot of time and like you need to pick up new hobbies like reading books or something.
Yeah, it's true.
You really do need to find something. You can play video games for so long until it gets boring.
No, it's funny, man. My first year pro out of college, so college was like really jammed up schedules, right? Like school, hockey, school, and then my first year pro was like I went from fast forward to like almost rewind. I was like, whoa, I got all this time. So I literally like picked up guitar. I just started like self-teaching myself how to play guitar because I was so bored some days.
Nothing to do.
Man, and I loved it. And again, getting paid to play is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even sometimes you're not making as much as maybe some of the other guys, but
Yeah.
getting paid,
You're getting money
you're
to
getting
play
money to
hockey.
play hockey. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, right? So it's such a cool, such a cool opportunity for you
Yeah,
guys.
no,
man.
it's wild. And like first year paying bills, like you actually have adult stuff to do. It's
Now, did
get
you call your
groceries.
parents and say like, "Mom, Dad, thank you," because of how expensive
Yeah.
groceries are, how expensive the
It's-
phone bill, like stuff that
yeah.
you probably didn't see much of growing
I
up?
had to get like an American phone, like so I have like a dual
Yeah.
plan or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I gotta pay that every month. Like gotta pay for rent every month. Like it
Yeah.
adds up. Pay for groceries
Oh,
every
oh
week.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
gotta manage your money big time.
Yeah, no, totally. And how were your parents with you when you were growing up? Were they pretty independent, kind of let you make decisions? Were they really heavily involved, like, making those decisions for you or being involved in the process? Or they kind of give you free reign to kind of,
Yeah, they gave me pretty much free reign to like sort of explore whatever, like with
Yeah.
regards to hockey and like whatever I wanted to do, like they would support it. Like with regards to OHL or NCAA, they were like, if you want to play in the O, that's complete, like that's your decision. And,
Yeah.
like, we'll support it 100%. They were really good that way. And yeah, they supported me in whatever like I wanted to go for and what I was driven for. And I think it goes a long way. They didn't push me to do anything I didn't want to do or
Yeah.
or didn't push me in the wrong direction. It goes a long way. Like makes you so much at ease, like with whatever. Like my mom was pretty upset I had to go to the Sioux like
Yeah.
at 16, like 6-7 hours away from home. She's pretty
Yeah.
upset, but she got over that.
Yeah, that's a mom thing too. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure Dad was too, but Dad never told you,
No.
it's all right,
She's
kid.
like, I'll come watch hockey.
Yeah, you're fine. I'll drive 6 hours, no big deal. Right? and then as soon as he leaves, he starts crying in the backyard, like,
Starts
Dad, my
bawling
boy's
his eyes
gone.
out.
Yeah. No, that's a tough one though when your kid leaves home. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got young kids now. They're super young, 5, so I'm like a rookie in the parent department.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine, that already they're only 5. But I mean, when you've been with
When
that,
they leave
and they're
home,
good kids, like you're a good kid, And the
Yeah.
one thing I've always respected about you is, we've met quite a few years ago now, and then really started working together a lot in the last bunch of years. But you really, you take your game serious and talk about that pro mentality again.
Yeah.
Like you've been a pro for a while, and you come back in the summer and there's things you want to do. I'm like, I
Yeah.
got to get better at this. And we always talk like, what's when we think of skill development stuff, I always ask guys like you, what are a couple things that you'd like to work on this summer?
This summer for sure. I'd really like to work on my skating. It's a strength of mine, but I think I could even just the pro game's so fast.
Yeah.
You need to be like really explosive. I need to work on that for sure. And I think just like puck handling too, that sort of thing. Everything happens so fast. Like you need to be able to like work on small area skills, like coming out of an escape move, like in the neutral zone, like making passes, like protecting the puck, that sort of stuff. I think my skating, it needs to work. Like everybody needs work on skating and stuff like that. But I think that's the biggest thing I need to work on is just getting that extra step just to create some more separation in all 3 zones. Like once I have a puck, like I want to escape off a guy, I want to explode, and so I have more options and more time with the puck, obviously. But yeah, I think that's one thing. And off the ice too, I've been working on my strength this summer. Like obviously last summer was huge for me, just going from junior to pro. You're playing against men.
For sure.
And I think I learned this year, like I do need to get physically stronger, and I think that'll just help my on ice even that much more. So
and that's a huge and bulkiness isn't always necessarily strength, right?
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
be lean and tight and fast and strong
And
right?
mobile, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you were to talk to yourself when you were like 8, 9, 10, 11, or even that 12, 13-year-old, Colton White back then that, man, I want to play pro.
Yeah.
I want to play in the NHL for real. What would you tell him? Like, what are some of the things that you would tell him to focus on and really kind of that minor hockey kid that maybe you spent too much time working on sick tricks with the puck?
Yeah.
So what are some things that you'd say, dude, like settle down on this and really focus on this because it'll pay off long term?
It'd probably just be like focus on day-to-day stuff. Don't worry about too much into the future. Just focus on what you can control, like day by day, and doing things the right way and treating people right. And I think that's what I try to do now to this day. I think I try to do the right thing. I try to treat people right, and I think working hard is a huge part. And I think I wish when I was younger, I played soccer more. I think I would have got a little more speed, but I'm still working on my speed. But
That's all right.
Yeah, no, I think just doing stuff right every day. I think that's really important.
And now, like, having played at a high level high level now playing pro, which is amazing. When you look back now, what are some of the skills that you wish that you would have really kind of hammered on more at those young ages? So get 2 or 3 skills. You're like, hey, young Colton White, you got to really focus on this because I'm telling you later on it's going to pay off.
Probably defending.
Okay.
Just like going into pro this year, like you think like, oh, you're such a good skater because like in junior you're the big fish, and then you go to pro and like you can't recover anymore from your skating. Like if you get beat, you can't just catch up to the guy. Like guys are so fast. So I think I wish I really like dialed in on like body positioning and like that sort of stuff, because I think like it took me a while to pick up in the A this year. Like it's tough thing to learn and stuff, but once you get the hang of it, it's more like situational awareness and stuff like that. But once I got the hang of it, it was huge. And I think growing up, I wish I really like paid attention to that stuff, because like it's different, because junior you have the puck, minor you have the puck all the time, and then once you get to the A, it's way different.
You don't have the puck anymore.
You got to work to get the puck back, and I think Mike Babcock says it all the time. Like you got to work that much harder to get the puck back and play on the offense, and the only way you get the puck back is by working hard in the D zone.
Yeah,
so
it's true, right? Yeah,
it's true. But I think I really would focus on my defensive positioning and like just the whole D zone. Which and boxing out too, like that stuff's huge.
Yeah,
it goes on like on TV. You don't notice guys doing that, but it's huge. It's
but I mean, you notice it now.
Yeah, 100%.
If you watch a good D in the playoffs, you're like, man, see how Schmidt boxed out, or see how this guy did this. You know,
John Carlson's he's unbelievable. I watched him a lot this playoffs. Colin Miller, Sioux boy.
Yeah,
he's got a bomb from the point.
Oh yeah, he got a nice goal, a couple nice goals actually. But he's got a cannon, man.
It's wild.
Yeah,
it's wicked.
Fire that.
I think his first year in the A, he was like fastest skater and had the hardest shot.
Because he can motor, man. He wheels.
He's got some wheels.
Yeah.
No,
he's good.
I think, Shea Theodore, he's a big D, but he can skate. Man.
Yeah, very good skater.
I watch guys like that, and he's young, and I think he's a great player. Like he's got good hockey sense, and he's so big. But it's different for me because I'm a smaller guy, so I like watching guys like Schmidt and Miller, like just how they box out, that sort of thing. Yeah. And I think watching guys like Ryan Ellis too, like he's a little bit smaller, but I think he just competes a huge part of it.
He's
guys
great,
just I think guys don't like, they take for granted not like working hard, because junior guys have the puck all the time. Like if you're a center, like in junior, like coming to pro is different. Like you got to battle, like even a D man, like you got to compete. Like I think that's the biggest adjustment for sure.
But even like that's a really good point, because a lot of times you think of work on your skating, work on your quick feet, which is it's all part of it. Mm-hmm. But learning how to play the game properly, I think, is one of the things where you're now you're noticing you obviously play the game very well, but you're like, man, how do I focus a bit more? I'd be even a step ahead right now, you know?
Yeah, like just in junior, like we'd be doing a D zone drill, and you're like, oh, all right, I can just recover if I like mess up. But in the pros, like you got to just be in the right spot at the right time, like, or else it's in the back of your net. And I think once you develop that awareness, I think it's so much easier. The game slows down completely. I remember my first game this year, I was like, things were going 1,000,000 miles per hour. We were playing against Lehigh Valley, like a pretty Phillies.
Yeah, they're good.
Phillies
they're
team.
good.
They had
they're
some
always
skilled
solid
forwards, and I'm like, I was -3. I was like, what just happened? Like bang, bang, bang in my net. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then from there, I think everything started to slow down once I started like just being patient. That's a big thing, is being patient in the D zone for defensemen. Not just rushing stuff. Like you got to really like take your time and sort out. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I think, I think once you learn it, it's way easier. The game slows down for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll just wrap up here with a couple quick little questions. But who was your favorite player growing up? So who's the guy, over the years that you kind of always watch? Like, man, I want to be. If I could be a guy, that's the guy.
Sidney Crosby for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good D man.
Yeah, he's pretty skilled.
Yeah.
No,
he's awesome.
Crosby, because the 05 Mem Cup when Rimouski was here. That's when I jumped on the Crosby wagon.
Oh, so, for sure. He's legit, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's pretty legit. I don't know.
He's not too bad. A couple cups.
Yeah. And then, but I mean, the thing with Crosby, I think for a lot of young kids, they love his skill. Obviously, he's very good, but man, that guy works.
Oh, he's a grind. He's like a fourth round grinder. I remember.
Oh, he's awesome.
When they won the cup last year, someone said he's the best, most skilled fourth liner ever.
Yeah,
like, it's wild.
It's unbelievable, man.
The way he protects the puck, like the way he works, like it's unbelievable.
And I have a huge appreciation for him and a lot of respect for him. Obviously, he's a tremendous hockey player, but for the work he puts in away from the rink that you don't see on camera, right?
Yeah, no.
That's what comes back.
He's really quiet about it. Like, just
and he comes back, he just does the work, comes back, and all of a sudden his backhand's crazy. Or his quick starts are unbelievable. Or
his face-offs, like the little stuff like that.
And he just continues to evolve his game, which is amazing. And that's what I think is huge, to be in that pro again. And you know what I mean? So
it's huge.
Yeah. And then one other thing I was going to ask is, so you got one brother, right?
Yep.
And was he a hockey player as well?
Yeah, he was. He played like single A, double A.
Yeah.
He he just liked it as a hobby. He wasn't
That's
like
great, yeah.
He wasn't like loved it like I did. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, he sort of went a different path. He just graduated from Fanshawe in science, computer science. So
Cool.
yeah, he's.
Is he still playing a little bit? Is he still playing
not
men's
really.
league? No.
No, he's into like guitar now. He's
Okay,
got
cool.
a drum set. Like
Yeah.
he's a music guy. So,
Good.
Yeah.
Now, do you watch him play music and like first of all, do you play anything? Can you play any instruments?
No, so one Christmas I
Yeah.
asked for a guitar. Like I thought it was like the coolest thing. I'm like, oh, so I'm gonna be a
Yeah,
guitarist.
for the
Like,
ladies around the
yeah.
campfire. I know. Yeah.
I couldn't play it at all. I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
my brother picked it up and then he started using it, and ever since then he's loved it.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny. I got a brother and sister younger than me, and they both like play drums, guitar, everything. Like they both have independent albums. Like they're
Yeah.
awesome. I took piano growing up. I could play piano when I was young, but I'm like we go to campfires at
Yeah.
up to the cottage, or whatever, and they're playing and having. I'm just like sitting there playing the triangle or banging on a bongo, like. And I look back now, I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
wish I would have stuck with it,
Yeah, I
because
know.
it's so.
It's nice, but it's
Oh.
like you gotta be dedicated.
Yeah, you got to
man.
put time
It's-
in,
Yeah,
right?
It's
And that's
like,
something like I think you and I are very similar that way. Where I would way rather go shoot
yeah,
pucks or go for a run
100%.
or like do some push-ups than
Yeah.
sit on a guitar. Like when I told you I tried to learn guitar when I was playing pro,
Yeah.
like the same thing. That lasted a month maybe,
Yeah,
and I was
if
like, this
that,
is
and you're just like,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not good at it, don't try. But
Learned a couple chords. And
Yeah.
was like, forget
Exactly.
it. Yeah. Listen, buddy, I really appreciate you coming
Yeah,
by
no,
today.
thanks
And,
for having me.
no, it's awesome, and this is something that I'd like to try to do this and kind of follow up with guys too. And we're going to try to maybe eventually do some kind of roundtables with a couple different guys
Okay,
and have
cool.
some fun, share some stories and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate you sharing kind of your
no.
journey and how everything went. And it's awesome. And over the last bunch of years, it's been great to have you around. And you've been a real good influence on a lot of the guys too, just as far as your work ethic and kind of keeping, it's nice to see other guys that are motivated. And, it's like you're working with guys like Sini or Trav or
Yeah.
whoever. And you guys push each other and kind of keep elevating that bar, which is amazing.
Yeah, thanks for having me. But it's huge. Like the skill development you've built here, and the program you and Mitch have built here is unbelievable. It's like a day of being a pro, pretty much. Like you come to the rink, you work out, and then you go skate. And I think it's huge, and it gives guys who are in junior or like minor midget something to work towards, and they see. Like I remember coming in here and seeing Boone Jenner, like
Sure, yeah.
someone you look up to. I watched
Yeah.
him in minor midget, like that sort of thing, and it's like. It's cool. It's like kids can make a reality out of this and stuff. So I think it's huge. Like the program you guys have built here is unbelievable.
I appreciate it, man. Well, thanks a lot, buddy, and
Yeah,
great to have
thank
you a part of it.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks.
Take care.